Good morning, second period. How's it going? How's your weekend? Anybody do anything interesting or exciting? Okay, so now it hopefully seems like I'm kind of there. Hopefully everybody got my email explaining that I am unfortunately gone today and tomorrow. My uncle died. He lived in South Dakota, so I am actually going out there for the funeral. So hopefully everything should be followed and planned. This was the screen that I was going to be showing you today at the beginning when you came in, but instead we had a couple of things that I did differently. So first of all, a couple of reminders. Hopefully the sub already collected your homework. So your production schedule for homework was due today. I originally said that it was going to be the last grade on first quarter. Unfortunately, it's going to be the first grade on second quarter. That's okay. Homework for tomorrow. Please make sure you finish all of your flashcards. After this video, after the video that you already watched on notes, you should be able to finish the rest of your flashcards. Make sure you finish them. Extra review sessions that I had mentioned last week that we're going to be due on Monday and Tuesday this week, I'm just pushing to Wednesday. So they will be on Wednesday during homeroom and after school. I should be back on Wednesday. And then lastly, for you guys only, I am moving your test. Everyone's periods 2nd, 5, and 7 will all have your test on Thursday this week. For you guys, that will be day 4. I just want to make sure that I have at least one day with you before your test where you guys can ask questions and such. So today the plan is that you guys are finishing the chapter. Tomorrow I will have some practice worksheets for you guys to do, and you'll have a bit of time to work on your study guide. Remember, the study guide is worth extra credit if you finish all of it and turn it in the day of your test. And then Wednesday when I come back, we'll play Kahoot, and then Thursday will be your test. Okay? I do have access to email, so if you have email questions to me, remember grades are going to be completed. They are pretty much done anyways, so grades will be picked up on Tuesday. So if you have any questions grade-wise, let me know. Okay? All right, so this is your warm-up for today, so I wanted to make sure that we got time to go over that. You did not have this last column where it says MC. We're going to actually add that today in your production schedule, so ignore that last column for me. Okay, so going through your warm-up real quick. Your first thing is that I told you in the instructions to group the first 3 columns together. So we have workers, total product, and marginal product. So remember from last week when we did the airplane activity, marginal product is going to be, think of it as how many items, airplanes, whatever you want to fill it in, were actually produced by that many workers. Total product is how many were produced by totally that level of workers. So for example, at 1 worker, we know that marginal product at 1 worker was 20. That means the first person produced 20 items. So what we're going to do to figure out the total product at 1 worker, we're simply going to add 0 plus 20 to give us a total product of 20. At 2 workers, we know that the first worker produced 20 items. The second worker produced 25 items by themselves. So I want to know, for total product, how many did they produce together? So I'm adding 20 plus 25 to get 45. At 3 workers, you know all 3 workers together produced 57 items. I want to know how many just the third worker produced. So I know that 2 workers produced 45, 3 workers produce 57, so if I do some subtracting, 57 minus 45 will give us 12. At 4 workers, I know the 4th worker produced 4 items. I know 3 workers by themselves produce 57 items. So I want to know how many the 4 workers altogether produced, so I'm going to add 57 plus 4 to get 61. For the 5th worker, I'm going to, I know how many totally 5 workers altogether produced. I want to know how many just the 5th worker produced, so I'm going to take 55 minus 61, and that will give me negative 6. All right, so how did you do on the first 3 columns? Hopefully well, because this is the 3rd time you practiced them, because we did it last week in class once. We did it, you did it for your homework, and this is the 3rd time. Okay, now remember we talked about stages of production also. We could have labeled the stages of production. So stage 1 would have been 0 through 2 workers because our marginal product is increasing up until 2 workers. So it goes up from 20 to 25. But then it starts to drop. So diminishing returns, our stage 2 would start with 3 workers and go through 4 workers. Stage 3, or negative returns, would be just 5 workers because we have a negative marginal product. All right, next we're looking at costs. So on your warm-up, if you read the instructions, I told you, okay, everybody gets frustrated and looks at it, well, I can't figure out fixed costs. I don't know what fixed costs are because you didn't give me anything. But remember, you do have one equation that includes fixed costs. What's your one equation that includes fixed costs? Hopefully you answered total costs, because fixed costs plus variable costs will give me total costs. Okay, so if that's the case, okay, in order to figure out fixed cost, I can then go backwards, right? So something plus 24 will give me 49. Okay, so if I do that, then I should be able to figure out that's 25. 49 minus 24 will give me 25. Once I figure out the fixed cost at 2 workers, now what can I do? Well, now I can fill it in all the way up and all the way down because, remember, it's fixed. In the short run, these costs don't change. These are things like rent, utilities. I don't have time to change those things. So they stay the same. So 25 all the way up and all the way down. Please make sure you put 25 in even for 0 workers, because remember, you have to pay this even if you don't hire anybody. Okay? Now we're getting into variable costs. Remember what variable cost means? Variable cost is the amount we're paying our workers. So how much we're paying our workers. So how do you find variable cost? So hopefully you said variable cost is wage times the number of workers. So in this case, you're like, well, what's the wage? You didn't tell me what the wage is. Well, you can figure that out. Okay, so you could take 24 is how much we're paying 2 workers, right? So if $24 is how much we're paying 2 workers, how much are we paying 1 worker? How would you figure that out? 24 divided by 2, right? So 24 divided by 2 will give you 12. That's how much I'm paying 1 worker. So I can put that in here. Now I can just, that's my wage, that's how much I'm paying every worker. So now I can just go and use some multiplication to figure out the rest of the variable costs. So 12 times 0 is obviously 0. 12 times 3 is going to be 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. Now I can figure out my total cost. Remember, how do we figure out total cost? We're just adding across. So we're just adding 25 plus 0 to get 25. For 3 workers, we're adding 25 plus 36 to get 61. For 4 workers, we're adding 25 plus 48 to get 73. And for 5 workers, we're adding 25 plus 60 to get 85. All right, that's all you have on your warm-up. So how did you do? Do you understand those 6 columns? All right, hopefully those 6 columns make sense. The next video I'm going to have you guys watch is actually showing you how to do the rest of your production schedule. So what I would like you to do is get out your production schedule for your airplane activity from last week. If you were not here, the sub does have blank ones for you. And also pull up the calculator app on your iPad. All right, remember, you can always email me if you have any questions.